It's raining again. It's raining again. I'm kind of getting sick of the rain. There's a goat butt sticking out of the garage. What's making you nervous? There's a chicken in there being a butt. Hi, kittens. Chickens. Chickens and kittens. No, I have to run. I'm running away from the kittens. It's been raining all day, so everything is mucky and gross, and I've got... I love this kitten. It is mucky and gross and disgusting, okay? So for some reason the chickens are still out, but the horse and the goat have mostly been hiding in the barn because it actually sucks. It's chicken. But the chickens are still out because it's not like horrific. I don't think the horse is actually in the I don't think the horse is in the barn. I think he's just standing. Yeah, he's just standing on the leadward side, so he's protected from the weather. Okay, so you will notice Smeagol's in here. Her babies are in there, staying dry. Smeagol is in here because it's time for her to be away from her babies anyway. And these guys are doing well. Everyone looks good. Everyone looks cute. Everyone looks nice. Geese up there. Anyway, today I was asked about... Hi, Arwen. She's at the front of the house there now. But yes, I'm not going to let you jump from here. I'm going to take you back over there. But I was asked about chickens. When do they lay eggs? So in addition to telling you we're drowning, there was actually some overland flooding near us. Not here, but near us. Not in our yard. But in addition to complaining about the rain, I thought I would answer that question, because sometimes I do that. When do chickens lay eggs? They wanted to know how old do the chickens have to be to lay eggs. Ugh. Goat. Hi, sweetie. So the goat's here right now, but they've been in the barn most of the day. Well, stop it. Stop chasing her. She's not having fun. The kittens are chasing the goat, and she doesn't love it. So she headbutts them. They need to learn. They're going to be barn kittens. They need to learn. Anyway, somebody wanted to know, when do chickens lay eggs? They wanted to know how old do the chickens have to be. And they wanted to know what time of day they lay eggs. And they wanted to know what time of year do they lay eggs. Okay, let's start with how old do they have to be. So, they do have to be old enough to lay eggs. What is that number? Well, depends on the breed. If you have one of these super laying birds, like your leghorns, they will lay much earlier than, say, a silkie. So with leghorns and those types of breeds, they could lay 4 to 5 months. Okay? Usually it'll be closer to 6 months, but it could be as early as 4 to 5. Probably not. Probably closer to like 5 to 6, but it's happened. What about if you have kind of a medium production breed? Well, then you're probably looking at 6 to 8 months. What if you have kittens? Kittens don't lay eggs. So, what if you have the specialty heritage breeds? Well, silkies, you will be waiting 8 to 12 months. Depending on the line, some silkies lay earlier than others. So, there's a kitten over there, Rowan. You better go get it. It's lost. He's going to try and get the chickens are going to be his friend, but they're not good friends. Okay. Not the point. All right. So, when do they lay? Anywhere from 4 to 12 months. And if that laying spell hits you right in the winter, you might have to wait a little longer. Some breeds don't like to start laying in the winter. So you might end up waiting. And they might be 14 months for specialty breeds like silkies, which is totally fine as long as you knew that in advance. There's nothing more annoying than thinking you are going to get chickens and they're going to start laying, and you thought they'd lay at 12 weeks old, and there's no way in heck they're going to lay at 12 weeks old. So, months is the answer. If you want something to lay faster, get yourself some quail at the same time. They'll lay at around 6 to 8 weeks old, and then you'll at least have some kind of eggs. But the chickens are going to take you anywhere from 6 months to a year, depending on the breed. Okay, what time of day do they lay in? Good question. Morning is most common, but it can be any time of day. Okay, morning mostly, but we have a few afternoon layers. Why are we yelling? Oh, it's because they're alone. There's one kitten. There's a kitten yelling. I want to find out who it is and why they're yelling. All the other kittens are going running. I want to know why he's yelling. I heard him. I just want to make sure he's okay. Kittens don't normally yell like that. One, two, three, four, 5, 6. We're okay. All right, don't get away from me. Get away from me. No! Go back to your mom! Anyway, so any time of day, really most common in the morning. Occasionally, you have an afternoon layer, is the answer to what time of day do they lay. How about what time of year? Okay, so this one gets more complicated because they don't care what time of year it is. They care about how much light they're getting. Okay? They care about how much light there is. There's always one, right? Oh, darling. But they care about how much light there is. I'm getting distracted by kittens. That's what I'm doing right now. But they care how much light there is. So, example. Chickens like 12 to 14 hours of light. That's summer. Spring, summer, early fall. In a normal world, they're not going to lay for you in the winter. And they're not going to lay for you in the winter. I'm running away. They're not going to lay for you in the winter because there's not enough light. However, if you put lights in your barn and you turn the lights off at, say, 10 o'clock at night and you turn them back on at, say, 6 o'clock in the morning, well, then you're giving them plenty of light. You're giving them 16 hours of light. So they're going to lay eggs. So you can artificially change the time of year by controlling the light, which sounds good. Then you end up with the controversial piece of that. What's that, you say? Well, there is an argument to be made that chickens should take a break from laying. And there's some truth to that. We always give ours a break, by the way. We don't artificially light. So if they're not laying, they're not laying. No big deal. We don't care. However, you will hear some people say, well, it shortens their life expectancy. There's no real evidence that it does. Maybe it's kind of mean. Ducks, man. Maybe it's kind of mean to force them to lay all year long. Maybe. Yeah, it is, kind of. But there's no real evidence that it reduces their lifespan. And then you get the, well, they can only lay a certain amount of eggs in their lifetime. That is true. It's just like human women. You have all the eggs you're ever going to have, you don't make more. But that egg number is really, really high. And even chickens that have never had artificial light eventually stop laying. We like to call it henopause. They get too old and they just kind of stop laying. Again, we call it henopause. There's a couple of breeds that don't do that, but in general, it is not uncommon to have a 10, 12-year-old hen who still looks good, unlike him, who's definitely got wet. Go inside, you dummies. But it is definitely one of those things where the hen, yes, has a limited number of eggs that she can lay, but that number is really, really high anyway. And she's going to probably naturally stop laying eggs well before she exhausts that, even if you use artificial light. Now, I tend to think you probably shouldn't use too much artificial light. Let your hens take a break, at least for a little while. A lot of your hens will molt during that time, and that's really important anyway. So I tend to come down on that side of it, but not everybody does. And that's okay. You're not going to hurt your hens by giving them light. It might stress them out a little bit in the depths of winter when they're trying to take a break. But in general, it's fine. I mean, it's a judgment call. We don't do it because we don't care that much. Like, I don't need the eggs. And if I don't need the eggs desperately, I don't bother. So, I hope that answers that question. I hope I was half understandable while I was busy dealing with kittens. Man, I love kittens. Yeah. Kittens are the best. I think they're perfect. I think they're wonderful. And I think I'm going to have a hard time giving that group up. Because they always want to follow you and talk to you because they're very good kittens. Well, I love them. Here come some chickens. Anyway, today is a very rainy day. It's still raining. There's rain on my glasses. There's rain on the camera screen. It's okay. We're not going to get out of this rain tonight. Oh well. It's actually getting colder now too. Like, it wasn't so cold yesterday, and today I'm like, yeah, ick. Yeah, so winters are coming. If it were just a couple degrees colder, this would be snow. So at least, thank every god that has ever existed, we don't have snow yet. Because areas not too far from me got snow. I don't want snow yet. I just want just a couple more weeks. Let's just get to Halloween without snow. Yeah. Did a live stream today in the rain about quail. Talked about quail. So that's something else we did today. Talked about quail and how they are the perfect fit for your homestead. Most homesteads should have quail. They're small. They're easy to care for. They give you eggs that can be processed for meat. They're fantastic. They're fun. They can be kept in small enclosures because they don't need a ton of space. And generally, they're easy peasy farm animals. So yeah, that's what we talked about in today's live stream. Talked about quail and their ability to okay, he's not dead. I was like, is that quail dead? He's not. He's fine. I was like, oh no. See, quail. But that's what we talked about today. We talked about the cute adorableness that is quail. And how homesteads should look at them as a viable animal to add to their farm. Especially if you're in an urban area where you can't have chickens. Think about rabbits, think about quail. Those you can normally have even in a more urban environment. And yeah, they're valuable animals. So think about it. Anyway, that is it for us here today on this very rainy day at Andersen Acres. I am wearing Crocs and my feet are wet. Should I put boots on? Yes. Am I going to? Absolutely not. I'm still pretending it's summer. It's not. Oh well. We'll see you tomorrow.